getting more life out of your hair during a hair shortage. Hi, I'm Steve Luttrell, your hair loss consultant, and welcome to my channel, The Real Deal, where I talk about your hair loss, why you've lost your hair, and is there anything you can do to get it back. Welcome to my channel, The Real Deal. And today we're going to talk about making your hair system last longer during a hair shortage. Doesn't that suck? Hair shortage? Wow, things were going really good. You can get your hair off the shelf. It was excellent. And now there's a hair shortage. Nobody has hair off the shelf. So what do you do? Well, first thing you're going to do is you're going to like and subscribe to my channel, because that's how I keep going, guys, and that's how you find out the latest, greatest information here on YouTube on hair loss, hair restoration, and hair systems. All right? All right, so let's get back to this title, Making Your Hair Last Longer During a Pandemic. All right, well, how long your hair system lasts has a couple different factors. One, is it a 0.03 poly? Is it lace? Is it a 0.10 poly? The base has a lot to do with it. The thinner the base, the more fragile it is. If it's a lace system, you can send it back to the factory or to your stylist, and they can add hair to it. Will it be exactly the same as it was in the beginning? No, because they're going to try to go in the middle and try to put hair in the middle of hair that's already there, where they work from empty base and then add hair. So it's not going to be exactly the same, but it will give you more life. They're going to charge you for it, of course, to add hair to those. Now, skin bases, you cannot add hair to the skin base once the hole is punctured and they've sealed those knots on the opposite side, the underside. You can't redo that. All right, so guys. Now, the 0.03 poly, of course, is like putting hair into a condom. There's not a lot of base there for it to grab in and hold on to. Your 0.05, your 0.07, your 0.10, those are a little thicker and they can knot them in there. In fact, your 0.10, a lot of times they actually put like a layer of gauze in there, and then they coat the gauze. So they've actually tied the hair onto the gauze, and then they've put a polyurethane coat on top of the gauze to give it a poly base. So those will last a really, really long time. The other factor is in how long your hair is going to last is the density. If you've got a lot of density, of course, you're going to have a lot of longevity. Now, when I first got into business, they sold hair every 6 months to a year, maybe a year and a half even, you would wear a new hair system. So they sold it with a lot of density. But the problem I had with clients is, and one of the concerns or likes and dislikes that my clients had in the beginning when I first started doing this, was they didn't like the hair in the beginning because it was too much hair. It looked like a wig to them. They loved the hair quality. It was shiny. It was beautiful. The color was right. But then after 6 months to a year, year and a half, they really started liking the density because it had less hair, looked more like their own hair, looked more natural. They could see the scalp. The hairline was not so hard and hard edged. But the problem was the hair, because it's very beat up, very processed, didn't last. It was dry, changed colors, orange, red, weird, crazy colors, but it lost its color. So you can add color to these. You have to be very careful. Now, lace systems, if you bleach the knots, if you put color on the bleached area of the knots, your knots are no longer bleached. They're going to be present. Skin base, if you are not very careful and you get, especially if you're a 1B, the darker colors, a 3, a 4, and you're putting a dark dye onto this hair to freshen the hair color up. If you get the dye on the base, you're going to see that dark spot, and it might come off kind of funky depending on what the primary color is of that hair color. You might get a little reddish violet tone to your scalp. It might look a little weird, especially if you get the edge here, the PU gets bleached on the edge. It's like the bleached knots. It's no longer there. It's going to look like a hard edge, and you have black base it's not going to look good. It's not going to look translucent. It's going to look like your own scalp. Okay. So, but you can add color. My personal preference if people add color is to go use Roux Rinse. It's a rinse. It's temporary. Every hair color you put on your head is going to be on your hair. Non-surgical hair is going to be temporary because it's already been bleached and re-dyed and recolored. So it's always going to fade. Period. How long and how quick, that's different factors. Again, how much you're outside, how much you're shampooing it. Do you go in the chlorine? Do you go in the salt air? All these factors contribute to destroying the hair system and breaking it down into something else. Now, you don't go to the shower, you don't shampoo it as much, you don't go in the pool with the chlorine. All these factors help lengthen the life of the system. All right. The less you blow dry the hair, the less you just mess with it, going to last a little bit longer. I think you should, brush your hair out every single day, but I don't think you should do it all day, every day, all day long. If you're constantly in there brushing and combing, well, you're eventually going to comb that hair out of the system. And again, shorten the length of the wear. So again, back just to go back quickly. First thing, what is the base? Thinner skin bases are not going to last as long. Lace bases, you can add hair to them. Is it going to look really great or natural? Not so great, but you can salvage them and add more hair to them. Your thicker skin bases, you're going to get more longevity out of them than you will at 0.03. So 0.05, 0.07, 0.10, you're going to get longer life out of them. A long time also, along with those thicker bases, most studios, most factories, most companies are going to put thicker hair, more density. So you're going to get longevity out of that also. All right. Hair color. Hair color is hair color depending on how well it's processed, the quality of the company that you're buying it from, how good they are at processing that hair. Makes a difference and determines how long that hair color is going to last. Now, a lot of companies out there, especially when you're buying off of Alibaba and you're buying this $99 hair and $120 hair, they're mass producing this stuff. Their quality is not that great. Their quality control is not that great. They don't really care. They're in China. They're on the other side of the world. If you're in America, you can't go knock on their door. So at the end of the day, the hair quality, again, beware of who you're buying it from. Make sure you know who you're buying it from. But at the end of the day, they're all going to fade. The hair texture is all going to just get worse as time goes on. So density is going to be a big part of how long the hair lasts. The more density, the longer the hair is going to last before it goes bald. Again, lifestyle. How often you shampoo, how often you blow dry, how often you go to the beach, how often you're in chlorine, if you swim with your hair, all these factors also contribute to the destruction of the hair system. So the less of these things you do, the longer your hair will last. All right, guys? So making your hair last longer during a pandemic, these are just a few of the quick tips. Again, you can put conditioners and all that kind of thing on your hair. Definitely, that's all going to help. But as far as the actual life of the actual system itself, the hair color, the hair staying in the hair system, the base not falling apart, all these factors are your basics of how to make the hair last longer. All right, guys? All right. So that's my show for today, and I hope you got some value out of this and got a little information to make that hair last a little bit longer during the hair shortage. And for a lot of you guys out there, hopefully this won't last too long, so you can get back to wearing quality, great hair. All right. So I'm Steve Luttrell, your hair loss consultant. If you liked what you saw today, make sure you give me that thumbs up again. Subscribe to my channel so you can keep up on the latest and greatest. And this has been The Real Deal. Have a great hair day, guys.